It is.
That actually sounds better this week.
I turned the volume up on it a little bit. I remember to turn it down a little bit after it stops, but we are recording, so it doesn't really matter now, does it? Episode 32. Welcome back, everybody.
We got a guest in the house.
Yeah, you might notice that we've doubled our size. By doubled, I mean one person.
Bill hates math, by the way.
Yeah.
Bill, what's the 11 plus 7? He's like,
Bill,
I said it on
Bill.
purpose, guys.
2 plus 2 is not 5, buddy. I don't care what
damn
you
it.
say.
I'm opening my beer.
I already did. You're behind.
you were behind. It's too hot today.
Yeah.
We're making Phil sweat.
Someone introduce our awesome guest. Who do we have here today?
Well, we are setting several records today, by the way. This is the most guests we've ever had at 1. This is by far the warmest the studio has ever been.
The studio.
Yeah, the studio.
And I'm drinking a pastry-style beer. I don't drink pastry-style beers.
I don't believe you.
I swear to God.
So,
I am.
For people who don't know, this is Phil.
Hi, everyone.
From the Connecticut Brewers Guild. Anything you want to say to the people, all our massive amounts of watchers right now?
Thanks for having me.
All right.
So I have a question,
You
Phil.
got to do a little quick cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
It was opened up early. Far enough.
I have a question, Phil. Who do you think is going to be more butthurt that they weren't the first guest on our show?
Ooh.
Ken or Tom M?
Definitely Ken.
So, by the way, as soon as you asked that question, those are the first 2 people I thought of.
I already
was like Ken and Tom, and then
I already know the answer.
Yeah,
It's
Tom.
Well, no, Tom doesn't care right now. He's too busy trying to be the top guy in your app.
Yeah, and he's been here, so he doesn't. So you're saying he
Yeah,
doesn't need to come here.
he's good. He doesn't need to come.
Yeah.
He's been here like 10 times since that, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both going to be on the show.
Right.
We just had priorities.
You know, you got to set the bar really, really high.
Or really, really low, depending how you're looking at it.
Well, we figured the amount of work that you did for it, we figured it was fitting to have the first guest be someone that was really integral in helping move forward and reopening the breweries in the state, obviously. And, I think that if we didn't have your voice or the guild's voice in general, we probably wouldn't have lumped in non-restaurant, you know, and we wouldn't have been able to do even the pickup we might not been able to do. So it was huge for sure.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. And it comes to the support of obviously you and all the other breweries across the state, because without you, then we wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't be here. And so with everything that happened, it was able to really push forward, like the curbside pickup, even delivery. So we got the allowance for delivery, and some people are picking up on that and utilizing it. But like you said, without myself, Kat, and our board, and everybody else, and our relationships that we've built, and who we are at the state, there's no conversation that we're having. And like you said, who would have known? We probably would have been non-essential retailers and just been closed.
Right. Yeah, we have beer sitting in our tanks that we're not allowed to even look at, and it'd still be sitting there right now.
And
I'd be in a corner crying. It'd be horrible.
Yeah. That first week or so was scary as hell because we had no idea.
I remember
what
that
was
first
going
couple weeks, for people who are in the industry will totally see it, like how much you were just like updates as best as possible and being like, hey guys, on the Facebook group, you're like, call me if you need me, but this is all I got right now.
Right.
But every time you had even a remote update of, I think this is where we're going, but I can't promise. And like, it was just sort of, I can only imagine how crazy you were going. And then it's also like, there's 100+ voices that are asking from something of you.
Yeah.
While we're all freaking out about our businesses, you're freaking out like to represent us properly. And I could only imagine how chaotic that was. And nothing's going to be perfect, obviously. I'm sure like how things unfolded were not as planned, but I mean, we're at least in a good spot. And we were able to take those steps forward. We never really took a step back, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the little bit of bittersweetness with that was the fact that nobody has ever gone through this before. So there was some comfort in that, and I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep till maybe mid-April because I was like, all right, we got reopening on May 20th there at least, Right. And so yeah, you're right. I had we have 115 breweries in the state now, and I was not sleeping up till 4 a.m, still working on things, and just trying to get answers and being the voice for everyone to make sure that when there was a decision made by Lamont, an administrative or scientist or somebody, I was the first to know, and I'm letting you know.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, this is what we're talking about. This is how it impacts you, and maybe possibly down the road, this is what we can do to try to keep you guys open as much as possible. That was the goal, and it still is. Like, in whatever capacity you can make money, we're going to take it.
Right.
And I think you guys are on the same page about that.
Oh,
we can only do curbside pickup. like, thank God you can.
Yeah.
You know, like you were able to do
100%.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Well-
I just want to shout out to the consumers as well. Like, thank all of you. Like, thank everyone out there for supporting us. And I think that was a huge realization by everyone. This pandemic was how important it is to support your local brewery, to support your local business.
Yeah.
Because it's you guys. It's we might not be open next week, month,
Right.
2 months. When is this going to last?
Right.
Till so. The support from the community, I'm sure you saw it as well, was huge.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
we
Yeah,
wouldn't
like,
be,
oh, I'm gonna buy a hoodie just because I want to support. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
it right now, but I'll need it soon. You
and
know.
all the while, people are getting laid off, furloughed. Like everybody's going through massive crisis of panic, and they're still showing up buying beer from you.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're getting all that extra
It's
money from the
symbiotic.
government to spend.
Yeah. I'm
Duh.
curious. I mean, actually, a tangent on that is like we had a conversation, and like I've had like different circles, but like your viewpoint, like have you seen, or do you think this will maintain? Like as far as like people are definitely seemingly are buying more local in general now. Like I may have bought and somebody out of state or whatever. It seems like in general people are looking to like an example for me is like my landlord. We share a house. He buys American beer, but he's been buying like Yingling forever, and he's like, I don't know why I didn't start buying your beer. So during this, he's like,
Yeah.
I'll just buy beer from you from
I'll leave it on
going
your
forward.
doorstep,
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because you
So-
just leave it on his doorstep.
Yeah.
Like,
But like, so he's like, he's drinking Cannonball right now, and he's like, dude, I don't know why I haven't done this forever. Like he's like
Yeah.
slapping his head kind of thing. And realistically, now until I move, I have a lifetime customer. So I'm just curious if you sort of see
Yeah.
that same trend across other breweries and neighborhoods and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely see, like I was saying before, and to your point, is the community environment. We've always had that in the craft beer industry. We've always had that community, and you come and support. Like before you're opening, you're doing your GoFundMe's, and your Mug Club members are people who either work on the street or it's your friends and family, and those are the people who support you. And then that just extends, and it's the environment and the experience when you get at a brewery.
Right.
Nobody's, there's no bar fights. We're just sitting down having a very well-made local beer that and that's what I love about. You can see the tanks in the back, and you're like, oh, it was made right there.
Yeah.
It's on tap here, and it's in my glass here. And so I think that just kind of hit people a little bit harder during this. And I think it's all about convenience too, which is
true.
why I think delivery was a massive thing that we accomplished and was allowed to do, because people were not wanting to leave their house. They're being told stay home, stay safe. So it's all about convenience. And if you're not getting, like you said, your products ironically from China or anywhere else, you're getting it from somebody who's right down the road,
Right.
and they could drop it off, or it only takes me 2 seconds to get there, and they come here and they see that you're gloved and masked and everything else, and you're being safe. You feel better about supporting that business.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think everybody, obviously, like we're sort of alluding to, is when we opened, like, look, we want to be as safe as possible. But we also want to like still be operational and make business. So it's like, let's do the right things. Let's do it safely. And delivery, I'm sure it was huge too. Like we didn't do it, but based on where we are, it just didn't make sense. Like we're in the city area, people are pretty close. But like where I was thinking, like very rural spots, like that's got to be huge. Like you have somebody like 15 minutes just to like get to the main road.
Right.
Where you're like, hey, if we set up that delivery route, you can look forward to not having to leave your house. You know.
Plus, our cans go out to liquor stores. Liquor stores were open, and some of those liquor stores were also doing delivery. So we felt we didn't need to.
Yeah.
We didn't need to do that.
The
but for other
places-
breweries that aren't in that position, that must have been huge for them.
oh, and anywhere that didn't have a distribution footprint.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
your main sales or tap room or draft. Like
Yeah.
they had to be freaking out like immensely.
Yeah,
and
sure.
the delivery, a couple breweries from much farther away from Fairfield County, I saw like one day a week we're making the trek all the way across the state to be like, hey, we're going to be delivering stuff here this day. Like, come check us out. And, as a result of that, they may have picked up new followers that have never had a chance to try their stuff.
We
And-
actually had a lot of people come through here that were like, I never tried your beer before. During like the height, like phase one,
Yeah.
where like literally I was like, never had your beer before. He's like, they want to like know about it, whatever, and they're like, and then they want to be a regular, starting at the pandemic like ground zero, which is sort of funny. I mean, it's I guess you have to laugh about it, but like
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, I've seen the place. I meant to stop by. I realized what you guys were doing, so I just wanted to come and buy some beer and support.
Yeah.
I've never had it before. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
but let's learn about you guys as I buy your product.
Right.
I've noticed a lot of people too. The fact that we were kind of forced to build that patio out there, which is a blessing in disguise.
El patio.
You
El
know,
patio.
something we wanted to do forever anyway that we probably never would have gotten to. It kind of forced our hand to get it done, but a lot of people are stopping in. They're like, "Hey, I saw all these tables out here. What is this place?" Like, we're getting a lot of that kind of traffic too, which is awesome.
Wait, you mean when people drive by your brewery and know you're a brewery, they stop and buy beer? I've never ever said that ever.
To Bill, your point, it's like, that looks cool over there. That looks fun. I want to be involved.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you said, it's something. Delivery wasn't something you took advantage of, but you could if you wanted to. And that's kind of the position that myself and the guild took. Was there were certain people, and that's how our whole association set up, is for the benefit of our members. And if there's something, or you want something, we have enough support, we vote on it in our meetings, we talk about it, and we go, all right, well, we're going to go get it done then.
Yeah.
And
Phil, I'd like someone to date me. Could you bring that up at your next meeting?
You're not a member.
Through you, I'm a
did
member.
we just come up with an industry dating app?
I think we did.
Okay.
Can we just add that
Just
tab
add
to your
that
app?
into- yeah,
You're
add that
recording
in.
this, right? Like
Yeah.
we have this documented?
Yeah.
Okay.
Add that into the app
It's
that
a-
already
it's a
exists.
singles tab like on the guild app.
Brew buds. Brew buds.
Do you want to talk about the guild app quick? I mean,
Yeah,
let's do
absolutely.
it.
Perfect segue into that was people driving and coming and checking out new breweries. And in the middle of all this, we were wrapping up our 2019 Beer Trip Passport, which we got over 3,000, probably closer to 3,500 submitted passports.
Wow.
That Kat and I were processing and getting everybody's prizes going out immediately. We obviously had back orders of all of our merchandise.
Right,
I'm sure you saw. But so we launched our Connecticut Beer Trail app, which is available in iOS and Apple Store right now, or Apple and Google Play. And it gives you all the information you need. It's like the #1 resource for everything Connecticut beer. So list of all the breweries in the state, listed by distance, no matter where you are. If you're grocery shopping, if you're checking out a different area of Connecticut you've never been to, you can always see what brewery you're closest to. Click on their thing. You can see their hours, description, what's on tap. Instagram, Facebook integrations in there as well. Deals, if you guys have trivia tonight, you can post about that. Events coming up. If you're doing growler sales, gift cards, things like that. And then you can stamp your passport one time per year. So let's say you start at March 1st, or whether you start at September 1st, you have 1 year to collect all your stamps to get all of the rewards that we have. And you can check in as many times as you want throughout the year too. So it's a great resource for everything, and we have a leaderboard, so you could see, compete, a little competition. And
the best part about that leaderboard is Tom M is currently not in first place.
we did have some people taking advantage of this.
I mean, it's not
Tom.
possible.
Tom's actually doing it
You mean it's not
legitimately.
possible to visit 50 breweries in the first 2 days
7
of the
days, yeah. So yeah, we unfortunately, obviously, there's going to be bugs and things that people are just driving around, and out of the first person who was on there, I think 40 out of the 49 he got were not while breweries were open. So it's not possible.
I just want you
don't
to
cheat, people. Don't
Yeah,
cheat.
silly.
We
Phil,
will
I just-
find out.
I just want you to know, now this was pre-pandemic. I did actually plan out a route that allotted for 25 breweries in a single day.
Yeah.
With 15 minutes of drinking time at each brewery, so
Love
you could
it.
have one sample, travel time included. We were gonna do this to try to earn the hat in one day.
Yeah.
And just to say we did it, and then
That's
we did it.
amazing.
Pat,
So-
I had a lot of free time that day.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
Pat obviously has a lot of free time.
which is why I need someone to
I will
date
say it was-
me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll say-
who wants to go with them? Come on.
I'll say the one thing with the app that I think is cool is that, or especially right now, I think that the timing
Right.
is unintentionally perfect because the hours are changing a lot. People next week we're going to be open till 11. We've never been open till 11, but that's just what we're going to start doing. And
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just seeing the demand
you're
for
never
it.
Yeah,
So,
especially with the
so-
patio, people just want to be outside. I mean,
Yeah.
we have the nice lighting out there, all that stuff. But if you're in the, I do love the geolocation portion of it because if I'm out about I don't want to think too hard. I'm like, okay, Google, now I have to check their Facebook page because that's probably the most updated, and so it's really cool as far as if you're looking for a brewery to be able to do that quickly. And for us, we're gonna learn how to update that appropriately, but definitely staying on top of the core information for sure.
Right.
If we do have events or our hours, stuff like that, because that's really cool. If I'm just happen to be in Hartford and I'm like, all right, is anybody open? I want a beer. I want to support
Yeah.
my guys. You know,
Right, exactly.
That's cool. That's really
yeah.
cool.
And to your point, one of the biggest features on our app is the beer. You can actually save a beer trail.
Yeah.
So you can go
That's
on
cool.
there and
Yeah.
you just select off all the ones, and that's what Tom started doing. He just started going there, and everybody else has just been sitting there checking. They're like, all right, this is my Saturday.
Yeah,
like this
yeah,
is
yeah.
where I'm going.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
way
it has-
easier than my Excel sheet
has
and
maps.
math.
And, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It has directions on it too. You just go in there and Saturday, July 4th, and you go in there and you just click it, and it gives you directions to
Yeah, yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, and I love that you guys added all those extra things in there. It's not just the get your stamp app.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's a lot more robust. I like the social
Got something to
aspect of it. You can take pictures, check in,
Yeah.
leave comments about the beer, stuff like that.
Exactly.
I like that all that extra stuff is there. It makes it much more something people are actually going to use rather than just a quick, hey, I got my stamp. Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Much more interactive and informative and useful.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's way better than the paper thing in general.
Yeah.
Random idea.
Yeah.
So, like, we can do deals, right? So what if, like, we wanted to partner with, like, the 4 or 5 breweries in our area and be like, hey, we want to do a little, like, mini passport.
Yep.
Like, is that, like, something like...
Yeah, absolutely. So what you
Alright.
could do with that is if you want to work with the ones in Hamden and New Haven or Woodbridge or anything anywhere around here, people, if they come here and they showed their visited stamp that they just came from, let's say, Counterweight,
Yep.
they or 12%, they can just show you, hey, I was just there. I visited. And you can give them, I don't know, $1 off your beer, whatever
All right.
you
Yeah,
guys
so
like
yeah,
talk
more
about.
make it
Yeah.
interactive. Like, hey, show the bartender, and you know, within our coupon, we could say as long as if you visit one of these last ones in the last X hours or something, couple hours.
And
ago,
that was
or-
one of the
and I'm sure we can even just post that right in our deals section of,
Yeah.
of the app itself.
Boom.
So yeah.
We're
visit
making-
a
we're
brewery
making shit
within
happen.
5 miles or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest things that I loved about the paper passport was when people were going and visiting and, they're making it their Saturday or weekend trips. They're at the bar, and just in general, before even the passport happened, but I think it came more to fruition, was people were asking, like, oh, like, hey, we're still going places. Like, where do I go next?
Oh yeah, I got that
Yeah.
a lot. When
A
I was
lot.
behind the bar, I'd get a lot of people looking. They're looking at the logos. They're like,
Yeah.
what's close to here?
Right.
Where would you? If
Or
you're looking at these, where
There was
would you
no
go? Yeah.
They were just wherever the logos
Yeah, yeah,
fit.
exactly.
It
Yeah,
was not,
exactly.
like,
So
distance.
we'd have people at the bar looking at it, and they're asking
Yeah.
me like, what's close to here? Where would you go? What's your favorite beers on here? And asking our opinion,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah, and it was cool too. Like, if you're like, oh, I liked your lager. What place should I go to? Like, oh, maybe you should go to East Rock if you really like lagers. They
Right.
specialize in that. I was like, oh, I love the IPA. Before 12% was around, I'm like, all right, well, definitely hit up Nebco and Counterweight. I mean,
Right.
go that direction. So, like, it was not to interrupt Bill.
Like, I was done.
Yeah.
You didn't
But-
interrupt me
but
for
I mean,
once.
I agree. Like, and being in a tap room, obviously, like the advantage of a tap room in general. Granted, this is a little bit different right now, but like normally, the advantage is you are meeting people, you're learning from your customers, you learn what they enjoy as well as maybe they don't enjoy, so you can sort of get that feedback and say, oh, or even just like, I like beer, but I don't know what I want. It's like, well, what's your last beer? Tell me your
Yeah.
last beer. That's always my favorite. It's like, all right, what's the last beer you had? I don't care if it was a Bud Light or if it was a triple IPA.
Yeah.
Just let me know what that is, and I can say, well, if that was the last one you enjoyed, let's get you into the right beer, right? And
Yeah.
that's a great conversation always to have too.
And that's I talk about this all the time, and that's the biggest thing that I love about just craft beer in general. Thank you. Anyone too?
Might as well. This way it's on deck.
So that's the best thing that I love about this industry was not only the cohesive collaborative environment that we have on the employee side,
Right, yeah.
but on the consumer side is the whole education that you go into. It makes it so different, and some bars do it great, most of it don't though. That's an advantage that we have in our industry is that you can come here and whether you're a beer drinker or not, or maybe your significant other or friend pulled you here,
Right.
but you actually take the time to sit down with that consumer, and I see this everywhere at all the breweries that they take them in and say, all right, are you a sweet tooth, or do you like, are you a Bud Light drinker?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's like, all right, let's pivot you into that. And people are like, oh, I don't like beer. I'm like, we just haven't found the beer you like. yet."
Yeah,
So
it's always a
are
good
you
one.
a coffee drinker? Do you
Everybody
like sweet
likes
things?
beer.
Like, let's go with this.
Are you adamant you like beer, or you just don't like beer?
And
Are
I
you willing
go,
to try?
I go.
Yeah.
When you say beer, are you talking about the keg party you had sophomore year in
Right
college
on.
that like was probably sitting there for 3
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah, that beer was probably
One of my
bad.
favorite is when people don't like that.
Super
Then I'm
oxidized
like,
with
oh,
the
try
party
a
pump.
Kuna. I'll bring them up, and they'll try Do-si-Do, and they're like, I hate beer, but I love Do-si-Do. It's
Yeah.
like, that's like the happiest beer we have right on draft at that moment or something. And it's like, yo, really?
Because it's a little bit higher percentage. Has that little bit of a sweetness.
Yeah,
and a
it's super,
citrus,
yeah,
you
super
know,
fruity, and
Yeah.
they're expecting, especially when I don't like hoppy or something. Like, well, you don't like bitter, probably.
Right.
You know, nine times out of 10. Some people love bitter, so you know, Mike loves
Yeah.
bitter.
Had to get our mic drop
Yeah,
in.
got it.
And that's one of the best things that I love about this industry is just that back and forth between the consumers and the employees on behind the bar, and we're having a conversation over beer.
Yeah.
And you can always find a common ground, and a lot of our every single one of our breweries too are extremely inclusive and welcoming, and you always feel welcome when you're walking into a brewery.
Yeah.
It was always like, hey, what can I get you? Have you been here before? Have you not? Have you downloaded the app? We make sure you get your stamp, because and then you're just starting that conversation. Have you been here? Heard of us? Did you just stop by because you saw our cool umbrellas outside?
Yeah.
Let's be real. Be honest.
Either way, I'm
They
cool
light
with
up.
it.
And
They
then
light
you're like,
up.
They do light up, yeah.
Starting like fireworks shows outside, starting at 9 o'clock.
There's only one guy I remember not being able to connect with because he came up to the bar, like just walked right in, thought we were probably a dive bar, and was like, "Can I get a chilled SoCo and lime?" And I was like, "I don't have either of those things.
I can offer you a beer,
I don't
sir.
have 3 of those things. I don't have a chilled, I don't have a SoCo, or a
Yeah. Sorry, we just brewed with all the limes. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Pete, man. Sorry.
But so let me ask you this, Kev. So you guys have been open for how long now?
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, 5 is November.
5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And
We're
you've had
old.
one person in 5 years.
More or less, yeah.
That But
That's the only standout person I can
that's what I'm
remember.
saying. Yeah. There's probably somebody that you were just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But
But it was that was like, so you couldn't even try to convince him that like, oh, you like Bud Light, you might like our lighter beer. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
that was the one guy who was like, no, I want a SoCo and lime. I'm like, well, I got nothing for you, buddy.
Stonewall.
I lied. There's a second one where someone was like, oh, I like I think it was Corona Light or something, and she tried the Aracuna and it was too much, and I was like, well, the next thing we got is water.
yeah, right.
Which I was comfortable with. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to upsell you on nothing, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But she did try it at least, so we did engage a little bit more than SoCo and lime guy.
Yeah. Right.
SoCo and lime.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys this too, and I mean, you're like,
No.
jump questions.
We have no-
we don't
I
have
always
a,
ask
we don't
We
everyone.
have
have
no
agenda.
format. No
We have
format.
Okay.
We talk
So-
until we're tired.
going into the pandemic and going into everything and all of that, like, what was your biggest challenge, and then what was something that you think you executed well?
I mean,
Maybe it's the same thing, maybe not.
yeah,
I don't know.
and these, I mean, Bill can probably also add to this. So, I mean, I think initially the first challenge was like that first week.
The initial unknown.
I'll tell the story.
Okay,
So-
Pat, you
so
tell the
it-
story.
It was like I
better
think
be right,
I think it
better
was
be right.
Monday or two. I
Not
think it
gonna
was
be
that
right.
Monday morning when like everything started
Yeah.
started to close.
'Cause we had just kegged a shit ton of beer that Friday.
Yeah, and I ran up
Like
here.
30 barrels,
I forget the exact reason why I was dropping the hammocks that I had printed off.
Yep.
And I promised I'd get them up here so Julian could use them for something, which didn't end up happening, obviously. And like the news kind of broke, and everyone just sitting around. It's like the two of you and Julian, and you're just like, what do we do?
You're not wrong. That's,
Yeah.
Now, granted, I say I'm part of the brewery,
Yeah, you
but
are.
I'm not financially employed by the brewery, so this didn't have the same effect as me. So I'm just like, how can I help?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
Right.
actually when the idea for the podcast spurned.
Yep.
And like
yep.
literally, it was like, all right, it's 11. I'll be back at 5 with all my equipment.
Yeah.
Like
It was a
and-
combination
and that
of-
night we started doing this.
Yeah. It was a combination of keeping us sane through that unknown time, and also it's like, all right, well, we're all going through this together, so let's find a way where we can at least do our best to try to promote the other breweries and local restaurants and stuff like that that are doing takeout, are doing curbside. That was how this all spawned. We don't know where it's gonna go from here, but that's
But that was our-
that's
that was
where it
our-
all started. Though.
Yeah, with the podcast itself, it was that focus of. That's why we were doing guest beers every time. It just became hard to keep up with that.
Yeah.
But our hope now is to do guests from other breweries rather now that people can sort of come out a little bit
Right.
more safely. I would just say that the only addition, like, 'cause you asked, well, in the beginning, what did we do well or what we thought we did well? I think it was just the ability and sort of our setup of being able to pivot very quickly. So that first week or so, or that first half a week even, I was like, because we were supposed to do a double batch of Do-si-Do, and we had a full brew lineup, and I'm like, all right, well, let's pump the brakes for a minute,
Yeah.
because we have a ton of beer ready for distro. Our kegs we're flying, but like those people aren't even open right now. So we had 2/3 of our cellar was full. We just emptied the other third the day before, and I'm like, what can we do? So pivoting very quickly and putting all that beer in cans.
Yep.
We were able to do that right away.
Yeah.
I think we did it in less than 7 days, and we weren't planning to do that. We got the labels printed, we got the cans in, and we got the mobile canner guys in here right away.
Yep.
Luckily, we had that relationship, so it wasn't really like, please sign us on. It was more like, hey, we're an existing customer. Let's make this thing happen.
And you were on the phone with them like the next day.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You,
Once
you
we
locked
knew we
down
had
the
to do
canning
it.
dates like crazy quick.
Yeah, I basically scheduled out the year with like 2-3, a minimum 2-3 a month, where we were doing 30 to 45 barrels a drop. Just that way we could just get it going. We could also arrange our beer schedule around that, hoping that we would have come out as quicker, but whatever. We are where we are.
Right, and that's what I was going to say too. Even at that point, it was still difficult to plan around because we didn't know how much longer. So that, especially with beer takes a lot of planning. There's a lot of time involved. So trying to plan around the unknown was very, very difficult, and that's where you guys came in very heavily for us. A lot of the stuff that you were doing and how openly open communication you had going on within the Facebook page there, the group and everything was just that helped us a ton to pave the way of what we needed to do, at least as best as we were able to
The
figure out.
second accomplishment, El Patio.
El Patio.
Just El Patio.
We did
now
that.
people
We did
know
that
we're
very
a brewery, guys.
It was just fun because it was more like, hey, we had this idea. The town was like in for it to make it permanent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I built half the brewery. I'm comfortable doing whatever. So I was like, let's just make this happen. Whatever we're capable of doing, which it was all facade stuff, so we didn't need to hire a contractor.
Yeah.
I'm like, get me a post hole digger. Jeff, one of our regulars who helped us out as well. I made Bill's like,
I
tell me what to do.
I
don't
stood
know what to
around and
do."
waited for instructions. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything
And
until
I mean,
you tell
it's,
me.
It's,
Yeah, right.
it's actually pretty impressive when you sit back and look at the final product
Yeah,
and
yeah.
realized the only real casualty was Bill's one T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
poured
I
stain
poured
all over
poured
it.
one of those wood stains all over myself one day.
Jesus.
It wasn't closed. I didn't realize
Yeah.
it wasn't closed.
He didn't close it, and then he like bottled it, and then
Yeah. I didn't realize
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh shit, I was gonna say something. What the hell was I gonna say?
El Patio.
Fuck, El Patio. Yeah, we got the patio. I don't know. I
don't
lost
know.
my
Yeah.
I lost my train of
Either
thought.
way, I mean, I don't know. I think just being on top of it in general, and I think that the beautiful thing so far has always been that at least there's a silver lining. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, even if it's 12,000 years away. We're like,
Yeah.
that first week was just that like, are we like who
Yeah.
knows
Yeah,
what?
what's going
I don't.
on,
I mean, I
right.
remember stories of like liquor stores are going to be closed. That
Right.
Well, no
you
one
might
knew.
be like, like there were so
Yeah.
many crazy things that were. I mean, I have friends and distributors, and like I heard this, and I'm like, all right, well, Phil just told me this, which is the opposite of what you said, and I'm gonna go with he knows more than you. You work, you work in a warehouse, which is fine. And I love you, and I love the update, and I love that guy for giving me the update.
Right.
But I'm like, and I even told him, I'm like, I'm gonna trust Phil over you, but I appreciate. Please give me that, like, give me the potential dirt.
Wait,
Right,
well, as
yeah,
far as
yeah.
I know, nothing that he said ended up coming to fruition anyway. So
No, yeah, but also they were like, if they were struggling to sell beer, I think it was also part of it. Like, well,
Yeah, yeah.
they weren't selling a lot, so they're like, well, maybe everything's shutting down.
Well, there was no one to
Right.
buy it.
yeah,
Right, and that's been the biggest thing. The package stores have been severely helpful, and a lot of the restaurants as well, as you saw. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you went and did your takeout, and there was like, hey, by the way, we also have all these 6-packs that you can like grab with it now,
Right.
and you could do that. And these are all the places, and I wanted to bring this back, like Bill, when I asked you guys, like, what did you think you did well and all that, and the first thing out of your what was the biggest challenge? You were like, oh, we immediately started like talking to bars and restaurants and package stores. Like, your first response to that question was helping someone else. It wasn't you sitting here like, well, we were freaking out, like, am I going to get paid next week? Like, none of those words came out of any one of your mouths. It was all about how can we help other people? How can we support local businesses to make sure, because you understand the long-term effect of that.
Yeah.
Of if package stores can remain open, restaurants can, bars, like
And the rest of our brother,
yeah,
the rest of our
yeah.
brotherhood.
This is
brotherhood
a
of
whole
breweries,
industry. This
you know?
isn't
Right.
just us. This
Yeah,
isn't
then,
just
by
a
the way,
business.
then you don't have
Yeah.
anybody to give your beer to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Except
Yeah,
for
like,
us.
like we updated our website with an interactive beer finder, so anybody that bought our beer in the last 30 days, if you're in
Yeah.
that area, you can find it.
Yeah.
Like just stupid things like that, which
Right.
is like it is simple enough to do, but it's like, well, if you don't want to drive out to here, find our beer over there.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, and we I mean, that first week, I remember. I mean, there was a press conference at 4:00 every day.
Yeah.
And that's by I think
I remember
by
watching on my phone.
Tuesday.
I'm like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
Because you were waiting
I
for
don't
me.
watch the
I know
news.
why. I know why you were watching it. You were waiting for me to get here to record.
Probably.
No, I know exactly why we were watching it. Because Phil made a post saying there's going to be a press conference at 4. They're going to say something important.
Yeah.
So we sat there on our phones,
said shit.
and they didn't fucking say anything important. I was like, God damn it, Phil.
Oh, I remember that day. Oh my God! Of course, I know.
Yo,
so
they're gonna have
I
a big
will-
announcement.
I have to defend myself, right? I was told by multiple people in the administrator's office it's going to be announced today. I have the text. If you want to see the text, I'll show you the text.
I believe
It
you. I
said,
believe
Oh, I take your word
yeah,
for
it was one of, and I said it the same way that I presented. I was told the same way that I presented it to you guys
Yeah,
was, hey, you should probably listen. There's going to be some important information for you at the 4 p.m. presser. I was like, perfect. Facebook,
Yeah.
everyone.
I learned it was
listen.
Wednesday. Like,
Yeah, and then they're like, we're not sure what schools are gonna look like, and like, and all, and we have like beds open in like
in
hospitals.
September.
And I was
nothing,
like,
nothing
I'm
has
sitting
changed
there,
in 3 months.
and they're like,
I remember we were actually driving, and you were watching on your phone. I think I was driving, and you had it playing on your phone, or
yeah.
vice versa. But we were in one of the trucks watching the press conference.
that's when delivery was supposed to be announced.
I was like, yo,
I think you'll be
something
happy.
Something better happen fast, guy.
And it's like, oh, Q&A, and I was like, no, hold up, all right.
Back that-
yeah,
back the train.
yeah.
Something good did happen. We stopped at Nebco and got some beer from them.
Oh yeah, that's
that
true.
was.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we were going there.
I will say, I live within maybe 200 yards of NEPCO.
Oh yeah.
So just thank that. Like I walked over and
Nice,
I
nice.
drove through. It was like drive-through status. You know,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
And of course, like I put my order in and put it says Phil Pappas. So there's like they're coming out. They're like, hey.
You have your own special beep as you
Someone to talk
as you
to.
drive up. Beep beep beep. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Phil.
Yeah,
That's,
they
that's
like
the
know
Phil
my car
beep.
coming up. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Phil's here.
The Phil beep.
I have my own beat now. This is amazing. I feel so honored.
We're gonna install that in your car later.
That's my horn now.
It gets old after a while, though.
Man.
Used seldomly. Duh.
I'm sweating.
I know. We're losing it.
We're getting there.
I feel bad for a lot of other breweries out there though. We were extremely fortunate with our town. Our town was super easy to work with, like Kevin was saying earlier. I've heard horror stories from some other people. I mean, there's a combination of people who just don't feel that they could do it safely, so they're choosing not to. But there's also the people that are just butting heads with their town on what they can do and
they
can't
don't get
do.
it. Like they're like, well, you
Right.
can still do the pickup, but it's like, sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No,
but,
it's fine.
like,
No, I was at the end of my thought.
Yeah.
Once again, you didn't interrupt me for once.
Damn it.
You gotta try harder.
And then, we've said it before at this table was the one thing we were trying to do too was as long as we were comfortable, obviously doing it. And the nice thing is we have a ton of space, so we're set up anyway. Was already very spacious, and then having the outdoors obviously was great. Was that we wanted to sort of be there, like similar you just said with like Nebco, you were to walk over to Nebco and it was like an outlet for you. We wanted to be able to offer that.
Yeah, it comes
for
back to the
our
community
neighborhood.
aspect of it. We wanted to, if people are comfortable going out, we want to be able to be here for you as long as we feel like we're doing it safely within the guidelines and shit's
Like,
not going crazy.
That first 2 weeks of phase 2, we had like 9+ feet between every table.
Right,
You
right.
know, like we were like
Yeah,
extreme.
we were overboard.
But it was like we just wanted to make
a good
sure
thing.
people could exactly. I mean, we
Yeah.
reined it in a little bit because now it's more permanent, but like it's still plenty of spacing.
Yeah.
Just a little. It's not 9 feet now, but like the nice thing is that I think that we were just trying to be is like, hey, we're here for you, like. As much as like I'm grateful that people come, like not even from the business back, just like seeing people. Like I live home with my dog,
right.
Like you know what I mean. Like so, like if I didn't have this, I'd just be like probably losing my mind, realistically. So like that alone, we're just like, look, we're part of the neighborhood. We're part of that like backbone of even just the street up. They have so many people that just walk down the road normally,
Right.
So to be able to offer that safely and say, hey, if you're not comfortable, that curbside is still there. That pickup
Right.
is still there.
Right.
But at the same point in time, if you feel like you want to put your foot in the water, we're still going to be safe. If you don't feel comfortable in some way, please let us know so we can do better.
Right.
At the same point in time, we're trying to follow all the guidelines as outlined.
Yeah.
We always get our balls busted, by the way, constantly about, on the table, no one wear their mask. I'm like, they're not supposed to wear their mask on the table.
They don't
They're drinking.
have to at the table.
They're drinking. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
So, and that was the biggest thing that we said, all right, these are the guidelines. We had some influence over that, and sharing this is how breweries operate.
Yeah.
And that's what we were doing, the whole curbside pickup. was like, we can do it safely. Like, we bring it to the car, text the number if you want it brought out, or like you can come in and the table's right there when you walk in. Like, there's ways that we can abide by it, and we had some influence over that. And like you said, we wanted to get to the point where if you would want to open under the guidelines, you can.
Right.
And if you don't, then don't.
Yep.
And we took the position, and we did our social media post coming up to May 20th, and saying we understand, because people were like, "You're an idiot if you go out." People were like, "We have a right to blah blah." Our argument was going on at that time, and I said, "Look, you have every right to go out. You also have every right to stay home.
Right.
We don't judge you either way. If you want to come out, we're going to do it safely. We're going to have these. We're going to follow the guidelines. We're going to be abiding by the state, the CDC, World Health Organization, everything, and be safe." And that was my point before. Like, when you show up, and if you guys weren't masked and things weren't 6 feet apart, those customers are going to be a little bit eerie about coming back here. But since you executed that so well, and knowing that when the phase 1 and then phase 2, and then as we're starting to see whatever's going to happen in the future, you have
phase
a
2.1,
2 and 2.5, 3/4, and you have your patio out there, and it's like, all right, like I know that they're doing it right, so I feel safe coming here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. It's not just aesthetics, as some people would say, but it's just like, look, as me, I don't have to agree. As a person, I don't need to agree or disagree with it. I just got to make sure we're doing it right, so that everybody, whatever side of the fence you are, like, you might be a little inconvenienced, you might feel that way, or you might feel like, hey, we're killing it and that's perfect.
Right.
I'd rather someone feel slightly inconvenienced than not safe. And I think that most people, like, we're very open. We say, hey, man, these are just the rules. Like, I know you want to take your mask off, but get to your table, take it off. You get out of your table, put it back on.
We've been pretty lucky with that. Yeah, we've only had, as far as I know, 1 or 2 different groups of people that were like, I'm not wearing my mask. Everyone else has been.
And even then, I think that even then they were like, they made a thing. I'm like, look, man, just like, if you want to hang, just put it on. And then they made whatever. But we had one person that was like, literally was like, I'm not wearing a mask. No, it was an older guy. They came up. We said, no, you're not allowed to. You have to wear your mask, or else.
Walking
kind of
in
or
and out.
else.
Walking in, he literally. It was like, well, or else you can't come in.
Right.
And
Right.
so he. I also had a bat in my hand, slapping in my hand. But, I mean,
or else.
I'll get
Kevin, I'm pretty sure if anyone doesn't need a bat in this place, it's you. All right,
I'm gonna get you.
Let's be real.
But he literally double backed and then floored it. Out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are you flooring it to? What other location are you going to?
Right, yeah.
And this was like week 1 of phase 2. I'm
Yeah.
like, not even that it should be acceptable now, but I'm like, it was at the point where we just switched over.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are you flooring it to? Your house?
Yeah,
Right.
where are you going that they're allowing you not
okay.
to wear a mask?
It
at
was
all
his God-given
times?
right to do a burnout in your parking lot. Come on.
I mean, it was a tiny, it was a tiny little car. It's fine.
I will say though,
Match his tiny little. Oh, never mind.
all the things that you pushed for and helped the brewery set up are going to have a long-term positive effect, because a lot of those things help places change their internal processes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we do
you're
online ordering now.
Right.
I can't speak for Kevin, but I would assume that when we come out of this, that's probably going to stay there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And a lot of places have done these little things to adapt that long term, when things are back to normal, in like 2025 or whatever the hell that's going to be.
Our children's children.
It's another workflow, another process that will help them. Bring more people.
I mean, the funny thing is that online ordering is actually like if I think back like years prior, like where people are like, oh man, I just wanted to get that fill or whatever, and we do growlers now. We'll fill your growler, but we don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
But if you want a growler, it's like way more convenient probably for you to put that through online and be like, look, and we can let you know when it's ready for you to pick up rather than sitting around. I mean, obviously you want to pint and get a growler, no big deal,
of
but
course.
like I think that pickup thing is going to help a lot.
Absolutely. And to your
for
point
sure,
too,
yeah.
I think that it will
dying
give
over
you
here.
a better sense too, as business owners and brewers, to be able to say, hey, you know what? We're getting so many online orders of Cannonball or Kuna Matata. Like, okay, then we're gonna go brew accordingly.
Right.
And you're kind of turning that corner and shifting a little bit business wise of understanding your demographic better and your demand.
Sweating.
For the record, I have no idea how long we've been recording, because the audio only recording stopped at 10 minutes because the SD card's full. So the video is still recording, but I have no idea how long we've been doing this.
Doing it long enough.
It's
Whatever.
been-
It's a good conversation though.
No,
Yeah.
we were
But so
doing it.
everyone knows, for the 4 people who watch, it is hot as fuck up here.
Actually,
17
it was way hotter when I was setting up all the equipment than it is right now.
But now that Phil's on, we're gonna at least have like 100 people.
See, I figure that, because of the honor of Phil being here, you guys might actually share this on the brewery social media.
I will.
And
Oh,
then
yeah,
Phil
this
will
is
probably
blasting.
reshare it
Absolutely.
afterwards.
This is going to be a blasting of this. Yeah.
The only reason we haven't shared it on the brewery social media yet is we're kind of waiting to get the set more permanent.
No, you just forget.
It's no, it's not.
No.
I
Just like
Disclose.
I share everything,
You
Pat.
do.
just like I occasionally
Go to Bill's
forget-
Instagram.
Just like I occasionally forget to upload the episode a day later than I should, you guys forget to share it out on brewery social media.
No,
It's okay.
I don't
get
forget.
it.
I'm just waiting for us to get a little more, a little more nice aesthetically here.
A little more.
Yeah.
So I got a different question.
course.
What's the last brewery you went to?
Oh, the last brewery I went
That
to?
wasn't us or Nebco, I guess.
Yeah. So the last brewery I went to was actually, oh my God, who was I last at? I know, I'm like trying to figure out my days.
I'm sure you went to a million of them, so it's
Yeah, it
fine.
was at Dockside.
All right, yeah, nice.
Yeah, Dockside was my last one that I
That
went
looks-
to.
I haven't
looks
been
cool.
there yet.
It
It
looks
looks
cool.
nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to talk about adapting. I mean, they were planning to open the week this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Milford, they were planning to open up Milford St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Oh,
Because there's going to be tens of thousands of people in Milford.
yeah.
Go right down and enjoy a brewery.
Yeah,
and that was when
perfect
they
day
were-
for a grand opening.
Yeah, and I was like, never mind.
Pandemic.
Yeah, so
Game off.
but
Yeah.
but fortunately,
Man.
I would say the large majority of their capacity is outdoor. They have a
Right.
3-tier deck, gravel area, and all that. So it was very easy for them to just say, "Oh, okay, we're just doing everything outside now."
Yeah.
Right.
That was
I've
cool.
heard a lot. I've heard a lot of good reviews come out of the spot. so
Yeah,
far.
and the great thing, obviously, the food thing, but like they have their own restaurant on site too. So
Yeah.
everything was taken care of, and the weather got nice, and they opened up, and it's a beautiful location. It's been packed almost every weekend. So yeah, but I was over there, and
Nice.
yeah, I was working with them obviously along with everybody else who was opening up throughout this whole thing, and trying to get them. With their branding and what they're going to be doing beer-wise and guest taps and things like that. So I was also at Outer Light.
All right.
Shout out to Mariah over there. I was
Nice,
hanging out
nice,
with her
nice.
last week. So popped over there. They got a really good thing going. They just opened up this weekend too.
Yeah, you're doing
for their
the
mug club.
pop up on the in the parking lot,
Yeah,
right?
in their
I
parking
saw
lot right there.
pictures, but that was
Yeah,
about it.
right in front of their tap room. They put out a huge tent and
I'm
opened
sure
up
it's a
there.
huge win for their town. I mean, from their town,
Exactly.
because I know,
It's been a
hopefully-
long
hopefully
time.
the town's not watching, but I know they had a little struggle with the town for many things.
Yes,
Yeah.
the town is watching. The whole town. It's been a long time since I've been
Hi,
there,
town.
but last time I was there, I met an awesome big fucking blue parrot. I think
What?
you were both with me.
Was that the
Oh,
day
I-
we?
yeah,
Was
I
that the
took
day
you
we
there.
went to the pig roast or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was
that
their
their
doing
anniversary?
your annual pick roast.
Was it their anniversary party?
Yeah, it might have
we
been.
played-
I think it was.
We
yeah.
played disc golf and visited a brewery. Yep, that sounds like
That-
us.
yeah, it was great.
was
There was a
last
huge
summer.
parrot.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
fantastic.
We did disc golf, Fox Farm, then Outer Light.
Yeah, that's a great
I-
little tour out there.
I
Yeah.
love Fox Farm.
That was a good day.
I just wish
Yeah.
I could have more than 2 beers there.
Yeah,
Bro, right now you can have any beers there. You gotta get them to go.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though, Pat.
you get
Shut
around.
up.
I mean,
There you go.
See,
Shut
go on the CT Beer Trail app. You go to Fox Farm. You can go down to Beard. You can go out to Cottrell. You can hit up
Yeah, no, the new beard's right there
Beard's
too.
second location in Groton,
Yeah, yeah.
along with Outer Light. You could hit up Tox. You go to Little House.
Tox was pretty
High
solid.
Nine
too,
is literally 3 seconds around the corner from Little House. Like, right? What did I just name? 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it would maybe take you.
Yeah, I remember it was like only Outer Light, and then you could
2,
go like
3
out of your
hours.
way to go to the original beard. It wasn't too far. It wasn't
Right.
too far.
It's not too far, but
But the
So you
new
got
one's
to
like
the
right
point.
across the street, more or less. Like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Then you get lost going to the original beer, trying to find your way through that like weird shopping mall
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. The
I
first time
I
I
love them, but I got lost
Absolutely.
twice
Oh,
in
yeah.
that building.
yeah. The first time I ever went there, I was like,
Yeah.
I
where
went
the
through the-
hell am I
The brewery
going?
entrance. I don't know. I didn't go through the main entrance.
Yeah. Like, what did I do today? I walked.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
saw the garage door.
Yeah, I
open.
went
I'm
through,
like,
I went through the bay door. I was like, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
walked through the bay door. Yeah. But
Monster.
what I love about Beard out there too, and it's an interesting time of whether they're doing it or not. In the Velvet Mill over there is, I went over there and I love going there during the summer because they have their farmers market going
Right.
on right in front of them. So I'm like, grab me some cheeses, some meats, a little baguette, grab my beard, and I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
That's a lot of buzzwords that I know I enjoy.
There was
I
a
know-
lot.
I know-
There was a
I know-
lot of foods thrown in there, so I'm
Yeah.
in.
Bill's hungry.
I am.
yeah.
Always
Nice.
hungry.
But
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I got nothing else.
I think
we've talked.
my beer is getting empty, which I
I
mean,
feel like this is like we're gonna have Phil back, like
Yeah.
when we have like a
Yeah, yeah.
professional set.
we
Like,
gotta let Ken on first so he
like,
doesn't cry.
Yeah, we'll do like
No,
like the new year once we have
Also,
like
happy birthday to Ken. It's his
Oh
birthday
yeah,
today.
happy birthday, Ken.
Here he's on.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm here. Is 'cause
Granted,
it's Ken's
this
birthday.
is gonna premiere
All right?
tomorrow, but happy birthday today.
He'll know.
Awesome.
No.
But yeah, I'm always here. I love talking beer. Love
yeah, man.
we could go through a whole flight. There's so many different agendas we can do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Absolutely.
the most important thing was basically thanking you guys for being adaptable during this whole thing.
Thank you, man.
Very happy that we can be here and have a beer together. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love it,
thank
man.
you for
We
having
definitely
me.
appreciate everything that
Anytime.
you guys do for us.
Now,
It's
you're an
huge.
employee technically here. I don't know. It gets paid in beer. Is that a thing?
I do shifts behind the bar and get paid for
Yeah.
that. It's
You're
not
just
my
gonna get an invoice on December 31st. So like these are all the beers you drank.
Oh
this
no!
year.
Oh no! Because then my shirt
Different
prices
voice,
go up.
yeah.
We have a relationship.
I tried to
There you
pay
go.
him in salad
Relationship.
tosses,
Say
but
we
he
do
doesn't
a
go
cheers
for
if you can't
that.
get beer. To the
Cheers.
Brewers Guild.
Until next time, keep living that hammock life.
My beer's empty.